Welcome to another flop segment from the Flop channel, where you can learn things that can change your life, make life easier, simplify things, remove a lot of illusions and myths that people live by in large numbers so it's more convincing than the actual truth. Today, we're talking about manners. Basic manners are not small, they reveal the whole system. Basic manners are so simple to me that sometimes it is hard to understand why they seem complicated to other people. Saying, excuse me, not blocking someone's driveway, that's also illegal, by the way. Using a turn signal, it's illegal to not use one. Picking up trash you left behind, not standing in the middle of a gym walkway, parking lot, aisle, or road because you're talking, scrolling, or lost in your own world. Acknowledging a person before asking them for something, like people who are your neighbors or someone who works with you or someone where you are always at a shared space with them. They've never greeted you in their life. They don't even introduce themselves with their name and ask your name. They immediately come up to you and offer to sell you something or ask you to help them with something. Respecting someone's time, like when people plan stuff with you, if you know that you cannot make it or if there is a possibility that you cannot make it, you never inform the person of that until the time it happens, and that person is then expected to respect whatever your excuse is. Taking accountability when your behavior inconveniences someone else. These things are not advanced emotional intelligence, they are not doctoral level philosophy. They are not mythical spiritual practices. They are basic social awareness. And yet, in everyday life, you can see how many people treat basic consideration like it is an unreasonable burden. What makes it more concerning is that it is not just the behavior, it is the reaction when the behavior is addressed. You can speak softly, you can be polite, you can say, "Hey, can you not block the driveway?" When you really should have just called the police on their stupid ass because it's against the law. And Louisiana, it's $136 for a ticket for that. So you saving them $136, but you get attitude. Gotcha. You can say, I would rather not talk on the phone when the conversation is chaotic and distracted. You can say, when I am speaking, I need you to not ridicule my thoughts just because they're different from yours. And somehow the person who caused the issue suddenly becomes the injured party. They get loud, they interrupt, they make excuses, they flip the conversation, they drown out your voice. They act like being corrected is a form of violence. And when you deal with people who live in dysfunction, ignorance, confusion, chaos, it's violence to them. They don't believe in correction. They damn near don't even believe in most of the laws out there. And they don't even understand why when they break those laws and it ends up hurting someone or the people who it impacts take retribution against them, and all of a sudden those people are wrong. The system is wrong. The system is out to get them. Oh, boogeyman. That is when you realize the problem is deeper than manners. Manners are the surface, character is underneath. A person who cannot say excuse me may also struggle to admit fault. A person who blocks access without thinking may also block emotional access in relationships. A person who litters in public may also leave messes in other areas of life and expect someone else to clean them up. A person who refuses to use a turn signal may also move through conversations, relationships, and workplaces without warning, clarity, or consideration. Small behaviors are rarely small, they are often previews. How people treat shared spaces tells you how they understand shared reality. The gym is shared, the road is shared, the workplace, the neighborhood. A relationship is shared, a conversation is shared. When someone behaves like only their needs exist, they're not just being rude, they're revealing a worldview. But somehow those same people are able to notice when other people are doing the exact same thing. It is amazing to me. Humans are amazing. I see why people play with humans the way they do. I see why people make social media profiles about things they don't even believe in and drive it to the people who are addicted to believing in it and manipulate them out of everything they own, because you cannot tell people anything anymore. Like, not even anymore. I think the group of people who grow by numbers and who for some reason have more kids than regular people do, they are outnumbering the normal people in society. And what they do not understand is that As much as people who are dysfunctional, they don't like people who speak correctly. They don't like people who keep up with themselves as far as actual keeping up with yourself. People that's healthy, people with naturally nice teeth, people with naturally nice hair, naturally nice bodies that care about what they put into their body. They don't realize those people are what keeps their society together. Do people not realize when crime and disrespect is so bad and people move in mass droves, do you not see the decline that's left behind? Because a lot of the people who are left, they don't have gainful employment, they don't have any intellectual skills, so businesses have no reason to come there. What business, unless it's a fast food business, wants to go to an area or a city that doesn't even have people that would be quality employees, or businesses that would have to pay so much for insurance because the people are so violent and so entitled that they would be putting their employees in danger. They would have to always replace products. And no one, like, I don't understand why people not making that connection. Like, I literally see, especially in New Orleans, neighborhoods where even grandma ain't safe. You ain't even safe inside, to where you can get hit inside, and those people will blame everything on the people outside, even though it's your kids doing it. It's your nephews. Y'all nephews be beating on women and having a million kids and abandoned, and only the women get the blame for it. Oh, women are a gatekeeper. They should close their legs. Do y'all see how people act in those environments? Half of those people probably don't even feel like they have the option to say no to some of these people. Not to mention, in dysfunctional environments, it's like women are typically forced to be independent and to stand on their own while the men get coddled. You see 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old men still living at home. You rarely see women that get the chance to do that. If they wanted to, they can't, because a lot of the times they're pitted against their mother, because the mother might be insecure about, oh, it's only one woman in this house, and don't even think about the fact that you sending an 18-year-old out in the world when our brains don't develop into 25. You're not giving them any life skills. So how do you expect them to survive? It's like people almost expect their offspring to repeat the struggle they had. They never learn from their own struggle. So all they do is just basically expect their child to live the same struggle. And it's cycles don't stop until you stop. A bicycle don't stop until you stop pedaling. People are constantly pedaling things, and just simple things like manners. It's so many people without manners. And what I love about the teenagers I see without manners, their parents just like them. Just like them. The parents, it came from the parents. It wasn't like some mysterious demon possessing the kids, and oh, the kids, oh, what's wrong with the kids? Do you see the parents? Like wake it all the way up, baby, and sometimes all the way up to the grandparents. I know a grandma who daughter is a grandma at 35, and the grandma be posting the children twerking on the internet. Before I deleted Facebook, she used to have the kids twerking on the internet. No one could tell her about that. So it's more of an ignorance thing, and it's just annoying that all of this stuff ties together, because literally one problem is the fuel for another one. Like, until people actually start doing self work and taking it seriously and not romanticizing it, until people actually stop abusing the word community. I don't want to hear that word ever a fucking again, because the people who perpetuate that are the same people who perpetuate people who destroy the same said community. That's not community. Stupid. But anyways, the scariest part is how quickly some people go into attack mode when faced with accountability. You are not even trying to embarrass them. You're trying to create order. But to an emotionally unregulated person, correction feels like disrespect. A boundary feels like rejection. A simple request feels like control. A consequence feels like betrayal. That is why some people can disrespect you repeatedly, but explode the moment they feel disrespected. They can waste your time, but rage when you stop giving it to them. They can drain your energy, but accuse you of acting funny when you create distance. They can damage the connection, then act shocked when access is restricted. They can treat people poorly for years, then present themselves as victims when those people finally leave. This is emotional immaturity wearing the mask of self-defense. I just want to interview people who actually got to really know me, so I can understand why the confusion of when people meet me, which I always start with respect by default to everyone. They meet respectful me. Like I'm an onion. I don't smell like one, but I'm an onion. I wear really strong deodorant. So I have layers. People should have layers. If you live in life one layered, one flow ho, then that's on you, bro. Like that, like for me, I can be respectful, I could be kind, I can be helpful, I could be loving, I could be compassionate. But with shadow work, I also embrace the fact that I can be the opposite of every one of those things I said. So whenever people constantly present me with disrespect, you are no longer dealing with that person you originally met. You have activated a safety feature to protect my mental health, my physical health, my environment. And now it's seek and destroy on that ass. And when that happens, all of a sudden people are so shocked. Oh my God, he's capable of that. Like, that's why I be warning people. Don't get it. Don't get shit. Shit ain't sweet over here. I don't care how much money I gave away in my 20s. I don't care about all of the stuff I did. I did stuff to opposite as well. And you have to be that way in this society because people really, they messed up in the head. And honestly, when it comes to unhoused people, when it comes to wild animals, they make more sense than the people in regular society who are not unhoused. Because at least with the unhoused people, they gonna own their mental illness if they have it. They're gonna own their drug addiction if they have it. They're some of them are just unhoused due to lack of income, due to situational things. And some of those people are the sweetest people ever. But on the other hand, you have people who have homes that they lay in every day, ungrateful for the home they have. They want a bigger home. They want the better clothes. They don't even wipe their ass, but they want designer. They don't even know how to pack a lunch bag, but they think they can travel everywhere. It's like the delusion, not to mention the people putting batteries in their back is just draining money from them. But yet the people who put the battery in their back are so smart that they've given them an invisible enemy to swing at, so that they never realize, like, okay, if I looked at my actual habits, this person is draining me. Like the self-destructive pattern. Many of these same people have a visible pattern of self-destruction. They neglect their pets, then raise hell when something happens to them. Shots fired. They neglect their vehicles, then blame the devil when the car stops working. They sabotage good jobs, then cry when they are terminated. They destroy friendships, romantic relationships, family bonds, and workplace trust, then rewrite history so everyone else becomes the villain. They complain about the harvest, but you're not allowed to talk about the seeds. They complain about the fire, but you're not allowed to mention the gasoline. They complain about the consequences, but you're not allowed to discuss the behavior. That is why pattern recognizers are dangerous to them. A pattern recognizer does not just listen to the story. A pattern recognizer watches the repeated structure behind the story. Who is always being betrayed? Who's always being misunderstood? Who is always being targeted? Who is always one emergency away from needing resources? Who always has a reason why accountability does not apply to them? At some point, wisdom asks, is life attacking this person, or is this person repeatedly attacking the structure of their own life? It's usually the repeated structure of their own life, because I legit know people who live la vida loca and will quote unquote shit on everyone, but then live in the worst side of town, constantly have new cars, can't keep jobs because they make dumb mistakes like leaving guns in the microwave. Like, who does that? It actually happened. That's a true story. Someone left a gun in the microwave at their job, and when they completely forgot about it and they came back after 2 days after their off day and it wasn't there because they had to use the restroom. Like, okay. But yeah, it's not their fault. It's the man, it's life, it's the city, it's the mayor, it's the politicians, which the politicians do play a part, but y'all vote for them. So, and it's funny because I mentioned that's all I said in one video, and YouTube restricted me for political advertising. Like, wait, like what? I didn't advertise anything. Like, I didn't never even say what I really feel about that. What I feel about a lot of stuff, I won't say it on here because my feelings don't matter. That's what dictates my life. Me telling the world my feelings about stuff does nothing but open it up to ridicule, open it up to possible rage bait type behavior, bots, and all of this other stuff. No, no, no. You will never know what I feel. I mean, unless you pay attention. But hey, do you? You cannot pull a fire alarm from outside a locked building. Trying to help someone who refuses accountability is like standing outside a burning building where the fire alarm is inside. You can see the smoke. You can smell the danger. You can yell, open the door. You can point to the exit. You can warn them You can warn them that the flames are spreading. But if they refuse to open the door, you cannot pull the alarm for them. And if you break yourself trying to rescue someone committed to misunderstanding you, now there are two people trapped. That is the painful lesson. Some people cannot be helped because help requires participation. Correction requires humility. Growth requires self-awareness. Healing requires honesty. Change requires responsibility. Without those things, your wisdom becomes background noise to their denial. And remember, all of these behaviors are reinforced by environments, because if something, let's say for instance, if a building opened up in a random area and it didn't have any entry fee, they didn't have anybody that worked there, they just had furniture, people would do whatever they wanted in that building because nobody's stopping them. And then the one day when they come there and an employee is there finally and let them know, oh, it was a mistake, the building just was left open on accident, we charged this, we charged that, blah blah blah, the people gonna flip out. They're going to flip out, and that's what happens in normal life. These people, these horrible families of all races, ethnicities, and nationalities. Even though, you know what, sometimes it'd be so tempting to fall into the stereotype of blaming immigrants for certain things. It's so like some of them make it so easy, but I know that is not true. But it would feel good to say that in a moment because you just be so frustrated, but you can't fall victim to that. Because even one of the people of the two, sandwiched in between two whorehouses, one of them is not even from here. And I knew it. Because even with New Orleans, people may have their flaws, but one thing people do, how you doing? Good morning, excuse me. For the majority, when I grew up, the drug dealers, the murkers, and all of the other people, even the twerkers, greeting elderly people, helping elderly people with stuff. Usually, even though it's wrong, people would send their young children to the trash can. But at least when the child got older, that's wrong to send them that young because a lot of the times they don't make it into the trash can and it'd be all over. But at least the child is learning to help. Like, that's the positive out of the negative. And that's one thing I learned to do. And a lot of ignorant people, when you take positive out of negative, they mistake that for you defending the behavior. No, nuance, baby, nuance. Get to know it. You need it. You need it in life. Otherwise, you're going to keep being confused. I don't understand why people want to go and be in luxurious places and you don't have manners. They already probably stereotyped you because of the fact that it's so prevalent that people who fall into stereotypes is more common than not that they're stereotypical. So that you starting with a stereotype, which, people mistake that for racism sometimes. It's a huge difference. As someone who has experienced racism 3 times in life, and I will never forget those times, baby, what y'all be calling racism, it's an insult to me. It's upsetting me and my homegirl. Stop being pussy and own up to some of the negative shit you're doing. Anyways, so yet now I'm on a whole street with buku teenage age children, with some of them with old people. Baby, who cutting the grass? The old people. Who got to pull the trash can from the corner? The old people. But people running in and out the house, even people who have cars, they pulling up, passing up the trash can on trash day. But this they grandma, this they mama, this they auntie. So it's like, damn, they don't even care about them. So I don't stand a chance. Every now and then you have people like my brother who know how to respect people in the streets, but disrespected his parents. But a lot of the times they don't. And it's like, but these parents, when a child is dead because their reckless behavior met the wrong person and they got popped, or they're in jail because they don't know the law, they barely know how to read, like, or they probably fell victim to social media stuff and still think it's intelligent to put crimes in your phone. Like, you should never have anything illegal in your phone at all. Like, no. That's the dumbest shit you could never do, because it's going to come back to you. It will, especially because a lot of the times people be doing crimes that's so high up, you get the FBI and the CIA involved, and you dummies will never outthink the FBI or CIA. Y'all are so stupid when y'all doing these crimes. Even the local police could solve it with a donut in their mouth. But they don't teach these children anything. They don't know anything. And their disposition is that it's the government, it's the economy, it's all of these things that happened before they were even born, but they're not even trying. Show me the person who tried, because there's people in different parts of this country that are really being held back. But Everyone wants to take that same story, and that's unfair to people who really go through stuff. It's really unfair. That's like people, never mind, I ain't gonna go there. But yeah, so people really definitely need to learn more, but they not. And the thing about people stop trying to help them. Y'all don't realize that a lot of these foundations, the ones that actually do help, you don't really know about them because they're not trying to see clout. They helping people, they making change. But the ones that's always getting donations, the ones that's always in front of you, and some of them even use religion, they don't help you, but they know that you're slow. So they make you believe they're here for you, even though they show you every chance they get. Some of them even have sermons dragging the whole congregation, and people, amen, amen. Like, and not even just church, it's even on the internet. And it's so amazing to me, like how stupid people are. And that's if you really want to get rich, learn how to manipulate. Because I can't save people from being manipulated, because they attack the person who goes against whatever beliefs were downloaded into them, and they don't receive software updates. So they have Windows 97 when it's 2026 in their brains. But anyways, disrespect does not have one look. One of the biggest traps in society is believing dysfunction belongs to one group, one race, one income level, one religion, one gender, one political side, or one neighborhood. That is false. Disrespect has no single uniform. It can wear a suit, designer clothes, work boots, church clothes, degree, criminal record, wealthy, broke, young, old, family, lover, coworker, neighbor. It could be the person everyone else thinks is so nice. Social media and news coverage can make people think dysfunction is isolated to one category of society, but in real life, mindset is not always visible at the first glance. That is why you cannot choose people based only on appearance, status, politics, religion, culture, or shared identity. And this is where y'all fall short every single time. They're going to get y'all every single time with politics, with religion, with culture, with shared identity. Y'all be quick to think that people that look or believe what y'all believe is automatically y'all ally online when these people are getting y'all together. But in your everyday life, you pass people that look just like you, that believe your same religion, all of this other stuff. People who killing people was raised in Christian households. People who raping and robbing people is your culture, is your community. They're part of the community too. But these same religions and cultures be quick to excommunicate people for petty penny any stuff, but you never hear them speak on that. They will, certain religious people will sit up here and talk about what's sinful of how somebody lived their life, but turn a blind eye to they pastor molesting people. Like, y'all are really sick, honestly. Like, a lot of people out there are really sick, and I see that now, and I move accordingly. And y'all give yourself away so quickly, because the one thing that people do who is in a tribal cult is that they speak on stuff they do not know. That is the first symptom. With authority, they will tell you, oh, CTE, people can't hide CTE because it's a mental illness. The whole time scientists did studies on that. We see real life examples of people that had whole double lives with CTE and was able to hide it, but their control wasn't there to where their crimes were more wild than the average person. And once I see that, I'm like, okay, yeah, these people can't be saved. You fool. It's like we in a jungle and certain people telling you what the lions are and what the bears are, and y'all just tap dancing with a loudspeaker and some meat on your shoulder. And then when you get mauled, all of a sudden, oh, the lion got to me. That's why individuation is important. Because if you keep thinking that you can save people, if you keep trying to convince people of what you believe or what you've seen or what you experience, baby, you're wasting time and energy. Time is ticking. People only think about time when it comes to being clocked in at work, but that should actually show you how valuable life is. Because if somebody's willing to pay an individual $100+ $50, $20 an hour to do something, why you don't value your off time the same way? People see free time as time to just be thrown away. People see free money as money to be thrown away. Yeah. You have to study patterns. How do they respond to correction? How do they treat people they do not need? How do they talk to their elders? How do they treat public spaces? I think what people should do is target all of the people with these behaviors, and a person, because they have the opportunity zone grant. Use the opportunity zone grant to where you get all them taxes off. Get all of them people to live in one part of town in different cities, because it's not just a certain color. It's different ethnicities, it's different backgrounds, it's different religions. Get all them bitches together so they could destroy each other, and don't let them go to other parts of town. That's the segregation we need. It don't need to be color segregation, because color is like, baby, it's people of all things. But they need to get all of the idiots, all of the small-minded people, all of the emotionally unregulated people out of everywhere. Even if you wealthy, baby, give them a city or a state or one of them little pieces of islands that the volcanoes just made, and let them live there, because they destroying society. Like, when you in traffic, just know the people I'm talking about created traffic. Traffic can happen so easy. It don't even have to be an accident. It could be one person driving in the slow lane, I mean in the fast lane, going 40 in a 60, ignoring the fact that people passing them up, not putting on any type of emergency lights to let people know to pass them up. And then you have traffic. And in the middle of all of them people having to hop around them, accident happened. Like, a lot of things, when you look in public again, realize that people did that. People did everything you see wrong. When it comes to the drainage system, somebody did that or didn't do that. When it comes to trash, somebody did that. When it comes to traffic, destruction, buildings being closed, someone did that. It's no ghost doing this to people. It's people doing it to people. And until you get out of that mindset of blaming other people, you're going to be stuck in the cycle too. Have fun. That's one thing I've never fully subscribed to, because I've always read too much. And I started having samples of it as a child, when things would be discussed that I read about and researched while I'm reading full encyclopedias, reading the Bible back to front, going to the library while the other kids playing nigga knock. Like, and you tell them, hey, this, and this. Shh, like, no. So yeah, that's the real segregation. Y'all getting lost in the false thing about race and religion and all of this other stuff. Baby, the people who look like you and believe like you are not your friend just because they do that. A lot of the times you have people who don't even care, but they use that because they know that people move for that. That's like a dog. You call a dog name, or you use a biscuit to attract the cat. That's exactly what they doing to y'all. It's just sad to be manipulated so easily, especially for me, because every person that I've ever cared about that was like murdered, they were murdered by the people of the community that I'm supposed to be believing in. They were murdered by Christians. They were murdered by black people. They were murdered by other people with the same beliefs as them. Straight people murdering other straight people. Gay people murdering other gay people. Like, so all of this hogwash, baby, y'all can flush that down the toilet. Please, please do. Like, you will be free. These illusions are so crazy. And the contradictions and the hypocrisy, dear Lord. Hello, Christ. I'm about to sin again. How do they handle being told no? How do they act when they're inconvenienced? How do they explain their past conflicts? How often are they the hero in every story and the victim in every consequence? That is where the truth usually leaks out. The family and generational consequences. What is even more heartbreaking is that many people are raising children into this way of thinking. Children are watching adults block driveways, throw trash, talk over people, scream at family members, drive aggressively, refuse responsibility, and then blame everyone else. A child who watches disrespect normalized inside the home will often carry that disrespect into society. If someone talks to their grandparents like a dog on the street, why would they care about your driveway? If someone has never been taught to respect the people who raised them, why would they respect a stranger in a parking lot? If someone grew up around chaos, excuses, emotional explosions, and blame shifting, they may not recognize dysfunction as dysfunction. They may call it normal. That is how private disorder becomes public danger. Social media has turned dysfunction into entertainment. Social media has made this worse because disrespect is now profitable. People record public arguments. They glamorize chaos. They go viral for humiliating strangers. They turn poor emotional regulation into a personal brand. They confuse attention with importance. They confuse loudness with truth. They confuse rebellion with growth. Yeah, like the streamers. Y'all up here watching people with alcohol addiction and meth addiction and all these different drugs all day long. And a lot of y'all kids are watching that too. Because yeah, it's not going to happen to you. It's not like us as humans, when we consume stuff regularly, it doesn't subtly plant seeds in our head. That is why when people want to change, when they start binging all of the things about change, it plants seeds in their head. So if you're binging toxicity, Even if you see that it's toxicity, don't think it's not going to come back on you. People be thinking because it doesn't manifest the same way it manifests in a person they see doing it, that it won't manifest in them. That's how a person who drank 20 drinks a day might call a person who drank 25 drinks a day an alcoholic, but they could justify their 20 drinks because, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, Some people do not want discipline, skill, patience, education, healing, or work. They want visibility without development. They want rescue without responsibility. They want sympathy without accountability. That's why y'all got to be careful dating. Like all of these dating shows, they showing you how people think or how little they think, actually. As long as you can dress up the outside, baby, you can have whoever you want. When they tell you, oh, it's your aesthetic, oh, fix your aesthetic. You don't have to fix your side teeth. You don't have to fix your credit. You don't have to clean your house and get them rid of them roaches. You don't have to clean your car. You don't have to do nothing. Just do this aesthetic and answer the little dumbass questions like,
where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Like, you don't even know where you see yourself in 5 years. Shut the hell up. Then when consequences arrive, they blame the man, the economy, the government, the race, politics, global warming, family, trauma, jealousy, or anything else not in the room to defend itself. The funny thing about global warming, the average person who consuming all of this mindless content, y'all don't even realize what's going on in the world right now. But I'll let y'all, the news people y'all watch, give you select information and then rage bait you at the last minute to things that have been known for the last few years now. Like maybe 2 or 3 years, they're going to suddenly decide to tell you, and then you're going to believe it. Because if I said it now, you're not. But yeah, be prepared. Word of the Lion King. Now, to be clear, social and economic issues are real. Many people are truly impacted by unfair systems, poverty, discrimination, limited access, trauma, and lack of opportunity. But there is also a dangerous group of people who hide behind real issues to avoid facing personal patterns. Remember, every person who identifies with your group is not really there. It is so easy to infiltrate groups. They have been doing this forever in history. Trojan horse, like just so many different examples. This group think shit is dangerous. How many, and you know what's even crazier? People have examples in real life. People have families who will say family first, and you have people touching kids in the family. You have people sleeping with each other, man. You have people fighting and stealing from people, but y'all still will believe that. You have people in your school or places you grew up with that fought you or bullied you, but you still believe, oh, this city, my city, this, and this. All of a sudden, you're a unified city. Like, it's always unification when it's war, but on a regular day, it's never unification. Like, y'all have to really wake up, but you won't for most, because the manipulation too strong. Being seen is too strong, and that's the danger. Being seen is so strong that people will be in things that's destroying them because they want to be seen. They like the attention. Like, and there's no age limit to it. It's grown adults that's doing that. They attach themselves to legitimate causes. They use emotionally charged language. They rewrite history. They bond with unsuspecting people through shared pain. They present themselves as advocates while secretly protecting only themselves. This is why you cannot let your identity, beliefs, compassion, or desire to belong pull you into the trap of virtue signalers. Some people do not want justice. They want a shield. They want the unaware to become their sword, their attorney, their public relations team, and their justification. Communication manners matter. Manners are not just about saying please and thank you. Manners are also communication hygiene. Basic communication manners include acknowledging someone before making a request, not calling people repeatedly when they have expressed that they prefer text or email, not turning every disagreement into a debate, not ridiculing someone's perspective because it does not match yours, not interrupting to dominate the conversation, not using volume as a weapon, not pretending confusion when someone sets a clear boundary, not calling someone sensitive because they notice the pattern, not treating access to someone's time, attention, labor, or emotional energy as entitlements. When someone tells you that your communication style is chaotic, draining, or dismissive, the mature response is not, you're overthinking. Overthink my ass right out your life, ho, and you'll never hear from me again. The mature response is, help me understand what is making it feel that way. That one sentence can save friendships, relationships, jobs, families, and reputations. Well, rest in peace to the ones it didn't save for me. Honestly, I'm actually glad that growth and standing on my growth was the demise of a lot of situations, because if I would have continued pacifying their lack of growth, their ignorance, their wasteful thinking, wasteful spending, and wasteful mindset, their stupidity, their gullibleness, like, that's draining. But emotionally immature people will rather win the moment than preserve the connection. Neighbor manners matter. A good neighbor does not block driveways. A good neighbor does not leave trash in shared areas. A good neighbor does not create noise, mess, or conflict and then act offended when addressed. A good neighbor does not make their guests everyone else's problem. A good neighbor understands that peace is a community investment. A neighborhood can look beautiful and still feel unsafe when people lack basic consideration. The real value of a neighborhood is not just property value, it is peace value. Can people rest there, park there? Can people leave their home without conflict? Can people address a concern without being threatened, mocked, or gaslit? That matters. Coworker manners matter. At work, manners become money. Being late affects someone else's schedule. Being unorganized affects someone else's workload. Being rude affects morale. Being loud and defensive affects teamwork. Gossip affects trust. Refusing accountability affects leadership. A workplace full of emotionally unregulated people becomes the place where good workers burn out, quiet workers detach, and strong workers eventually leave. Some people cannot keep jobs because they treat employment like a stage for their personality instead of a place for responsibility. They want the paycheck, but not the professionalism. They want the title, but not the discipline. They want respect, but not the behavior that earns it. And that goes up to management too. Like the dispensary out here, they have really weird hiring practices. And for whatever reason, they magically have like very few quality employees at each location, and majority of the ones are playful, childish. They'll have a whole line and they'll be standing there talking to each other like the people not in front of them, like if tea time is right then and there. And it doesn't help that you damn near have to go like chase them for them to respond to you, because so many people I know who applied who actually had a good group interview and everything else, they never heard anything else back. And then you have the person who do the interviews, they don't even respond to their email. And it's like you getting your big paycheck being that big boss manager, but if y'all start losing customers, because it will happen due to all of the unorganization, the constantly being full, baby, people gonna go back to buying from the weed man. They're not playing with y'all no more. And it's driving manners matter. Driving is one of the clearest places where people reveal themselves. Do they use turn signals? Do they tailgate? Man, look, if the purge was real for a second, every tailgater behind me would not be here no more. I'm telling you, because I hate to look in my mirror just because I'll check my surroundings when I'm driving to see somebody's face. I should not be able to see your face. Not clearly. Do they block intersections? Do they park selfishly? Do they rage when someone makes a mistake? Do they treat the road like a shared system or a personal battlefield? A car gives people speed, weight, and anonymity. That combination can expose character quickly. Emotional regulation behind the wheel is not optional, it is public safety. One bad reaction can become a legal case. One reckless moment can become an injury. One ego battle can become a funeral. One refusal to calm down can change multiple families forever. Accountability is not an attack. A healthy person can hear that hurt me without immediately making themselves the victim. A healthy person can hear, please do not do that again, without treating it as disrespect. A healthy person can hear, you wasted my time, and reflect on their behavior. A healthy person can hear, the conversation is draining, and ask what needs to change. Accountability is not humiliation. Accountability is the bridge back to trust. But people who live through ego cannot cross that bridge. They burn it, then complain that they're isolated. This is why when y'all asking all of these questions to people, you need to ask what kind of family they grew up in. And don't ask immediately after that. Let them answer that, and then on a later date or later on in that conversation, a few subjects later, bring it back to them and ask them, have they recovered from any of that? Have they did therapy? What are the flaws they noticed about themselves that they fixed? If they cannot answer that, stay the hell away from them. Because when I tell you, I can always tell who people mama and daddy was by how they act, and it's never been wrong. Because even people who actually are good quality people, them ways still slip out. I've been a person who, before I accepted who I was as far as the negative and the good, that they can exist together in the same body, I had ways about me that I didn't see as bad because people was too busy benefiting from me to tell it. And I would pay attention and notice after certain actions, people would have this reaction, and I had to discover it myself. Emotional regulation and mental health. There is a mental health layer here too. Some people are dealing with trauma, anxiety, depression, ADHD, PTSD, grief, addiction, or internal battles. That matters. Compassion matters. See, this is the thing. People don't be dealing with it. They be having the symptoms of it and be the poster child for it, but they never acknowledge it. They never get treatment from it. So I don't like dealing would be for people who actually are aware and taking care of it. Like, but mental health may explain the behavior without excusing the refusal to address it. Your wounds may explain why you are reactive. They do not give you unlimited permission to harm people. Your trauma may explain why correction feels threatening. It does not give you the right to attack everyone who corrects you. Your stress may explain why you are overwhelmed. It does not make everyone else responsible for absorbing your chaos. Healing is not just feeling better. Healing is becoming safer to be around. The legal and social consequences. People often underestimate how far these patterns can go. A rude neighbor situation can become a police report, civil dispute, lawsuit, restraining order, or property conflict. A workplace attitude can become termination, HR documentation, loss of references, or a damaged career reputation. A family conflict can become no contact. A friendship can break permanently because one person kept minimizing the other person's boundaries. A romantic relationship can end because one person kept confusing control, chaos, or emotional volatility with love. A personal outburst can be recorded and follow someone online. A road rage incident can become criminal charges. A neglected responsibility can become debt, eviction, repossession, job loss, or court. This is why basic manners are not small. They are early warnings.
You're overthinking it. It's not that deep.
Somebody who life miserable and in a stuck cycle said that. The INFJ pattern recognizer program. For INFJs and other deep pattern recognizers, this can be especially exhausting. INFJs often notice the emotional weather in a room before anyone else admits there is a storm. They see the repeated behavior, contradiction, shift in tone. Remember the pattern. They feel the emotional cost before the consequences become visible to everyone else. The challenge is that INFJs can sometimes over-explain, over-help, over-warn, and overextend because they see what is coming. But wisdom eventually teaches this. Seeing the cliff does not mean you are responsible for grabbing the steering wheel. Some people will call your warning judgment. Some people will call your boundary abandonment. Some people will call your discernment arrogance. Some people will call your silence cruelty. Let them. Peace requires the maturity to stop auditioning for people committed to misunderstanding you. Philosophy of manners. Philosophically, manners are not just about pretending to be better than other people. Manners are agreement with reality. They say, I am not the only person here. That is the root of civilization. I know Rihanna have a song, Only Girl in the World. A lot of people act like that's literal and that they're the only girl in the world. Even the men be acting like they're the only girl in the world because the way that they think hyper masculinity and toxic masculinity is because I'm a man. You're a man, but what do you own? What did you build? Who do you protect? The ancient philosophers understood that character is built through repeated action. Aristotle taught that excellence is not a one-time event, but a habit. In everyday terms, you become what you repeatedly practice. If you repeatedly practice blame, you become irresponsible. If you repeatedly practice defensiveness, you become unteachable. If you repeatedly practice disrespect, you become unsafe. If you repeatedly practice consideration, accountability, and restraint, you become trustworthy. Prosperity is not just money. Prosperity is order. A prosperous life has peace, structure, emotional regulation, clean relationships, reliable habits, wise boundaries, and the ability to move through the world without constantly creating fires. Some people want the fruit of prosperity while planting the seeds of chaos. It does not work that way. The action plan, which can be done at your convenience. Start with small manners. Say excuse me. Say thank you. Use your turn signal, especially if someone's behind you. If you see that y'all at a four-way stop and the person thinking you're about to cross, and you just turn like that. That shit is like, that's inconsiderate. Pick up your trash, be on time, respond without yelling, listen before defending, apologize without adding a speech. Stop making your lack of planning someone else's emergency. Stop treating correction like disrespect. Stop confusing challenge with being attacked. Then move deeper. Ask yourself, why do I become angry when corrected? Why do I need to win every conversation? Why do I feel disrespect when someone sets a boundary? Why do I keep blaming others for patterns I keep repeating? Why do I keep blaming others for patterns I keep repeating? Baby, that question would save a lot of lives, households, businesses, everything else. Because the blame game, honestly, if you doing a blame game, it should be a joke. You shouldn't be really seriously doing that. If you seriously doing that and still expecting some type of success in life, good luck, Charlie. Because even if you achieve it, it's going to be short-lived. You're going to destroy your own success, because you can blame the environment you're in. You can make everything your current neighborhood fault. Every single thing that's wrong with your life would be your neighborhood fault. And then when you move to a different neighborhood, magically is not is you gonna see that is, oh, it's the new neighborhood fault. That's why some people never move, because as I notice, people who like to do the blame game, they tend to stay in those situations because that gives them an unlimited amount of blame. If they stay with the person who holding them back for 20 years, they can blame them for the rest of their life. Oh yeah, that 20-year relationship held me back. Or if they work at a job that's a dead end, even though the pay probably the lowest in the area, and they could easily get somewhere else like a call center or work from home or something. But yeah, oh, there's no work from home jobs, because somebody on the internet who cried about a job they got fired from for posting social media stuff that violates the policy that they signed and dated told you that, right? Yeah, uh-huh. Why do I want rescue more than rehabilitation? Why do I want sympathy but avoid responsibility? Growth begins when the question changes from why are people doing this to me to what role do my patterns play in what keeps happening. That question can change your life. How to handle people in public. In public, do not overinvest. Be brief, calm, clear, safe. Say what needs to be said without trying to teach a full life lesson to a stranger who is already showing poor emotional regulation. Baby, when I tell you, when I spot an emotionally unregulated person in the wild, first of all, I don't have to spot them because they're always doing some stupid shit that interrupts the environment, some way, shape, or form. And I don't say anything to them. If it's a place that, like, how the epidemic of the people with the loud, like watching content with their speakerphone on loud, not low, not a little whisper, they turn it all the way up. Those people, I don't tell them anything. Security, say what needs to be said without trying to reach a full life lesson to a stranger who is already showing poor emotional regulation. Examples: excuse me, I need to get through. Please do not block my driveway. No, don't even tell them don't block your driveway. If somebody's blocking your driveway, just call your non-emergency police number. That is the best thing you can do, because the people will not stop doing it. You have to get an outside source involved when it comes to these people. It will never just be you and them, because the way they think, they only know violence when it comes to emotionally unregulated people. Talking to them means nothing. They probably can't even read a full sentence. So you mean your words is gonna mean something to them? No. They only speak in virtue signaling and rage bait. I'm not arguing. I'm asking you to move. I'm going to disengage now. This conversation is no longer productive. Do not match their volume. Do not follow them into chaos. Do not let their lack of regulation recruit yours. Safety first. Documentation if needed. Distance when possible. How to handle these people personally. In your personal life, stop giving unlimited access to people with repeated patterns of disrespect. Access is earned. Your time is not a public resource. Your peace is not a community donation. Your emotional labor is not a free subscription. Your forgiveness does not require unlimited exposure. When someone repeatedly wastes your time, drains your energy, gaslights your concern, ridicules your thoughts, or flips accountability into an argument, you do not need a dramatic exit speech. You need a boundary. Reduce access. Move communication to writing. Stop explaining the same things repeatedly. It will only make you hate the person or resent them very deeply. I've been there too many times. It don't work. As much as you want to believe, oh, I should have said this. I should have said it better. I should have done. No, 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 no. You do better going outside and talk to the trees. You see. Stop rescuing people from consequences they keep choosing. Stop confusing history with obligation. Stop letting guilt make decisions that wisdom already answered. Believe the benefit of removing these people. When you remove chronically disrespectful, chaotic, emotionally unsafe people from your personal life, you may experience something unfamiliar at first: silence. At first, peace can feel like boredom when your nervous system is used to chaos, but then you start noticing the benefits. Your sleep improves, your focus, and this is if you're not doom scrolling all of the time. Because if you have a habit with technology and letting that blue light eat up your eyes all day long, and you don't use night mode or use anything to try to lessen the brightness in your light, good luck with the sleep improving. But your focus returns, your money decisions improve, your home feels lighter, your body relaxes, creativity returns, your standards rise. And I rise up, I rise like the day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up. Your discernment sharpens, your future becomes easier to build. You stop living in reaction mode. You stop waking up wondering what fire someone else started. You stop confusing loyalty with self abandonment. And eventually you realize that peace is not empty. Peace is room to think, grow, heal, build, to become. Basic manners are not basic because they're meaningless. They're basic because they're foundational. A person who cannot handle the foundation will eventually struggle with the structure. If someone cannot respect your driveway, your time, your voice, your boundary, or your peace, do not be shocked when they cannot respect your life. The warning signs are usually there. The question is whether we are brave enough to stop explaining them away. Growth is not just becoming more successful, growth is becoming less destructive. It is learning how to move through the world without leaving emotional, financial, and social and physical wreckage behind you. And the people who refuse that growth will eventually face the consequences of living without self awareness. Broken friendships, no contact family members, lost jobs, legal battles, burned bridges, public embarrassment, financial stability, loneliness, a life full of people who did them wrong while never asking why the same story keeps repeating. Manners are not about being fake nice. Manners are about being developed enough to remember that other people exist. And when in a world where many people are losing that awareness, the person still has who still has it becomes rare. Protect that rarity, protect your peace. And when people show you that they're committed to chaos, believe the pattern before the consequence becomes your problem. For me, having manners, it makes me stick out like a sore thumb because I don't even put 20 on 10. I literally just use basic manners and automatically stick out. Even if people ever want to do better in interviews, you can do that. But see, the thing about it is you don't just wake up and start doing it. You have to introduce it in a way that you feel comfortable with. Whatever way you feel comfortable. Is certain things you might not feel like doing. You might not feel like saying excuse me. You might be on your ludicrous throw them bows, especially because sometimes excuse me don't work. Legit people, you can say excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. For me, usually if a person is blocking and they see me, they move. You don't want to get knocked by a nose guard at all. So, and I definitely learned that because I used to when I still shrunk myself from being minimized in the environment of hyenas when I was Simba. It's like I used to shrink myself in public too, so people could move me out the way. I would be the one saying this sorry, and they the one in my way. I would be the one like, no, 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 no. I let my nuts hang now completely, completely, and especially if you hit a bass start to come up, that's like me growling. Like that mean we having a problem because not a the testosterone didn't increase, the cortisol didn't spike, baby. Like was am. I actually shocked my therapist with that when I was telling her about a situation with my driveway being blocked and it being the sixth time and me telling the person and the person caught an attitude with me like all of the other times. And I was just telling her that it made me flash to 20, my 20s. Like if this was my 20s, baby. And she was shocked because I never mentioned violence to her. But what she will understand in the future is it's a racial barrier. Growing up where I grew up at, people fucked with you for no reason sometimes, and especially being intelligent, unless you was someone that they could copy off your homework, which I started selling homework and selling projects. People would make fun of you, especially because their children with tribal mindsets that they hear their parents saying all of this ignorant stuff, so they go out in the streets and do it to other people. So for me, baby, all my life I had to fight. Not really, because all you need is to break a few jaws and knock out a few people, and the people of that area are gonna leave you alone. You might have to reintroduce yourself when you go places, but as an adult now, I don't really even think about it like that unless a person is showing me aggression because now my defense system is up. I am not holding two hands out like I'm holy, like, oh, I am mannerable. I will not do this. Baby, look, if it's smoke, I always swing first. You're not about to bark up at me. So that's what I was informing her of. But then I also know that it's an age gap between myself and the usual suspects. But the sad part about it is when I have to go from being respectful to the other side, hello from the other side, by the way, I that's the worst thing a person could get me to because I don't do it often. Like you have to do a lot for me. Like it's easy for me to stop disrespecting people because I'm not about to kiss no ass at all. But when it gets to the other side being on go, that's bad because I'm not a misfit, but I don't miss. I don't miss at all because I don't do conventional things of destruction. If you are emotional and angry, I'm not going to respond to you in that. All your weak points. Word to Batman. I've already sized you up. I already saw your unawareness. I already saw your recklessness. I already see that the vehicles you driving, you riding dirty. So, baby, I will take you to another realm. I don't ain't no heaven or hell. Take it to hell, baby. I'm not even in this dimension anymore when it comes to that. And it don't matter how long it take, you will be dealt with. And I don't have to think about it every day. I don't have to harp on it and ruminate in it. No, but just know. Kiss of death. Mwah. No bars. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, don't ever feel compelled to subscribe if you're not going to watch videos. You don't even have to watch them. You could just leave it on your television or something. But the whole subscriber thing is like a BBL because you can have the big ass cheeks with subscriber count growing, but if the thighs don't match, which is the views, the engagement, it's really pointless. Granted, I didn't come here for that this time around. Thank heavens I did, because if I did, I would have stopped making videos a long time ago, because if I cared, seeing a video that has 0 views is insane when you have 700 subscribers and people voluntarily telling you, I'm going to check out your content. I never do that. You will know I checked out your content because I'm going to be in your comments of the content. But nevertheless, work on navigating stress and learn how to transmute negative emotions into things that can improve your life. If you struggle with fitness, when you're angry, use that to work out within reason and safety, and check with your doctor and all this other stuff. Make sure you're stretching all of that. Or if you feel left behind, use that to learn financial literacy in depth. Because if you learn it, there is so much money on the table that regular people do not see. It's sad. That's why when people complain about money and the government, economy, it lets me know you're financially literate. Anyways, that's it for now.